Well, hello there. Welcome in for another video. I hope all is well. Today we're going to be reviewing Lakewood Soap Company's Mr. Powell's Mellow Honey Mash. I have my reviewer cap on. How do you know it's a reviewer cap? It's because it says so. It's there, reviewer. And I've come up with a new way I'd like to review things on the channel. You saw a little preview of some scientific things I'd like to do in the future, but I'm still perfecting that whole testing method. So right now we're going to keep it a little simpler, but I do have a structure to how I want to review products. And for shave soaps, here's what I'm thinking. So to review the products, what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a 5 barber pole rating scale. And the 5 different areas going to be covered in the reviews are 1, ingredients, 2, performance, 3, the scent, 4, presentation, and 5, value. And we'll go into detail in each of these with this particular soap. Now, let's first set up the whole issue of ingredients. I'm going to be focusing on 2 aspects of ingredients when I talk about products. One is safety and the other is skin food. Now, to aid in my discussion of safety and skin food, I'm going to use the Environmental Working Group's Skin Deep database. Now, this is available online. I'll put a link in the description. Not all products are listed there, but most ingredients are. So you can search either by ingredient or by product. So EWG Skin Deep Cosmetic Database gives people practical solutions to protect themselves and their families from everyday exposures to potentially toxic chemicals in personal care and beauty products. Skin Deep launched in 2004, lists easy to navigate hazard ratings for nearly 70,000 products and 9,000 ingredients on the market. The U.S. government doesn't review the toxicity of products before they're sold. Companies are allowed to use almost any ingredient they wish without regard for how safe they are. The aim of Skin Deep is to fill in where industry and government leave off. So as far as the safety of ingredients, Skin Deep rates the safety as 1 to 10, primarily based on whether or not there is research behind how safe that product is. So let's take a look at the ingredients in this soap. So we have tallow, which is, I assume, beef tallow. It's not listed on the ingredients specifically what type of tallow. We have water. We have shea butter, and you see I have a little razor icon there. It looks like a cartridge razor. Don't tell anybody. And I'm going to use that little icon to indicate skin food. And then you have a little soap bar next to stearic acid. I'm using the soap bar just to identify things that you commonly will find in soap, like potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide that you see here, which have not as safe a rating, but it depends on how it's used. You can see it can be as low as 1 for sodium hydroxide or 2 for potassium hydroxide. You have castor oil, which is also a skin food with a rating of 2, and then fragrance, which is where a lot of products are going to get into trouble. So with fragrance, some of the risks are allergies and immunotoxicity, and it varies depending on what the fragrance is. However, most of the fragrances that are out there don't have their particular ingredients or chemicals listed, so it's hard to know specifically what's in there. So this is how we're going to be looking at soaps, with this ingredient breakdown indicating what the safety is and also indicating what's skin food and what's just sort of normal soap products. So for the ingredients category for this soap, I'm going to give it a 4. Would have liked to seen a little more skin food ingredients, but overall, good ingredient profile. For performance, we're going to be looking at 5 areas underneath performance, and that would be lathering. And for this soap, I felt like it was a 4 out of 5. It lathered pretty well. I'd like to see a little bit of a denser lather, but honestly, I would need several more times lathering this soap to see how to dial it in well. But for the effort I put forth for it, I'm going to give a 4. For cushion and protection, I'm going to give it a 4 as well. It did a good job in protecting my skin. I could feel the cushion there protecting my face. The primary slickness was great, as was the residual slickness. So if you buff, it's no problem to go back over areas that you've already shaved. And the post-shave feel, I'm going to give it a 3, but I think if there had been more skin food ingredients in there, it would have increased that post-shave feel quite a bit. Nothing bad, just sort of middle of the road. So I'm going to give that a 3.8 when you average all that up on performance. Let's move on to scent. Now the scent is described as smooth whiskey, sweet honey, aged wood, and a touch of vanilla. Linda, who is the artisan over at Lakewood Soap Company, talks about she had a friend who was encouraging her to use this scent profile in the soap. His name was Mr. Powell. She came up with this soap and named the soap after her friend, Mr. Powell. So I would classify it as a medium strong scent. It's pretty strong off the puck. It remains strongish. I would say more medium strong as you lather. When I was filming some of the close-up shots of the soap, I was about 2 feet away from the container. And I noticed when I opened it, I could smell the scent from a couple of feet away. I also pick up a hint of tobacco in the scent. This is a sweet, dark scent that I would say would be most suited to fall and winter. I really like the scent, so overall I'm going to give the scent a 5 for its strength and for how much I enjoy it. Now, keep in mind, scent is highly subjective, but for me, this is just me reviewing it. I really, really like the scent, and I think that most people would too, given that you use it in the fall or the spring. You definitely can pick up the honey and the wood and the whiskey. So you get all of that, and as I said, in addition to a bit of a tobacco note as well. Let's move on to packaging. So I'm looking at primarily these 5 areas here, and it would be container and loading. So this is a good container, standard size container. I wish it wasn't clear. I wish it was opaque so that it wouldn't allow light to come in to the soap. Light tends to be damaging both to the scent profile and the composition of soap, and so I think having an opaque container might prolong the shelf life of the soap. Certainly wide enough for loading, and overall quality container. It seals well. It has a lot of good info on the container. The top label is nice. It gives the location, the ounces and grams, the scent profile. And then on the back, you have a small circular sticker with the ingredients. I would have liked to seen some side labels, either on the side of the lid or the side of the actual container. So if you store your soaps on their side, you can see them, or if you stack them, you can see each soap without having to look at the direct top of the soap container. So I'd have liked to seen that. And the ingredients sticker being on the bottom, to me, that would also be better as part of a side label. Label durability, the top label seems to be very durable, as does the bottom label. It looks like these would hold up, although I do worry a little bit about the bottom label setting on a wet counter, whether or not over time those ingredients might fade. I already see some fading in some of the areas of that ingredients list. So for aesthetics, I really love the font that's used here for the Honey Mash title. This really gives it a sort of an old-timey feel, and it would look similar to what you might see on some whiskey bottles. So for packaging, the average would be 4.2. Now, as far as value, let's just look at sort of the range of some of the more popular soaps. I went to Maggard's and Italian Barber and Westcote Shaving, and I looked at the more popular soaps out there. So I calculated a price per ounce for each of these soaps. You see it ranges all the way from 60 cents per ounce to $4 per ounce. Of course, there's soaps that are much more expensive than the ones you see here, but these are your more common ones. So when we look at the value range of these soaps and look at where Honey Mash falls out within that scale, it comes out to be about $3.50 per ounce. I'm going to give it a 4 on the category of value. So considering all the scores, taking those, adding those up, averaging them, we get a score of 4.2 for Honey Mash from Lakewood Soap Company. It's a good soap. I really enjoy it. Part of what I look at is if I were to use this all up, would I replace it? And for me, yes, I would. This is staying in the den, and I would replace it when it runs out. The primary reason that is for me is because I really love the scent. I love that whiskey, honey, aged wood, touch of tobacco. That is really right in my wheelhouse of the things that I really enjoy in scents. There's also a post-shave balm, Honey Mash, that matches the soap, and I used it after that shave. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to take time to review it here. I did perform well, but I don't want to go through that long list of ingredients during this video. I may make a separate video for that balm. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and this gave you a little bit more information about Mr. Powell's Mellow Honey Mash. Linda Morris is the artisan over at Lakewood Soap Company. I see her active on a lot of the Facebook groups and the forums, so reach out to her if you have a question. I bought another one of the soaps from her, and I'll be reviewing that in an upcoming video. Also bought some of their bath soaps, and I look forward to reviewing those as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.